Good morning, everyone. It's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue, coming to you live for today's Cricut chat. I'm hoping I can get some people on, my regular folks, to learn about something new in Cricut, which today it's going to be draw and cut gift tags, but not Christmas, not holiday gift tags. These are through the year gift tags that I found. Good morning, Cindy. How are you? So these are, we're doing gift tags. I love gift tags. They really can make your packages look wonderful. Good morning, Lynn and Jennifer. Good morning. So it's Tuesday morning. Hi, Penny. Yes, I am. I hope you are too. Wanda, good morning. And Lynn, another Lynn, a different Lynn. Good morning. And Bianca, hi everyone. So good. Thank you for sharing, Penny. So good to see you all. And Lori Jo, hello. So this morning I thought we would do some more the print, not print, but drawing and cutting with our Cricut, because I really love to use, good morning Laverne and Lisa and Dorothy, hi Dorothy, and I thought that we would do some working with the pans, because I think people don't use their pens enough, and I love using pens with my Cricut. It's so much fun, and I'm finding it's a little bit hidden, but I'm finding there's a lot of special projects in your Cricut Access that you can make with print. I'm sorry, I keep saying print, but with drawing. So I made these really adorable animal. These are drawn images. They're 2 layers. And at first I started doing all these like natural colors, right? And then I was like, you know, who's to say the bunnies can't be pink or the bears can't be blue or something like that, and that you couldn't put like to from on here either, or on the back it would be hard because it's a 2-layer and the back is black, and unless you have like a white or silver, sometimes silver will show up, or gold on black. I can show you that at some point. But yeah, right now, Cricut doesn't make a white marker. I've asked about that because I think that would be really cool. And then here's one that's no writing, but it's like a 3-layer that is, you could write on the back, that I think that would be entirely appropriate for some birthday package that you were hand delivering or sending. Wouldn't that look great? Or how about this one? So elegant. Best wishes for maybe for a bride, or you know, someone even for a baby one. So yeah, these are really fun, and you can play with a lot of them. And I want to show you a few tricks here, because things that I encountered and how I found these. So here is actually, I think there's even one, and who's to say that a gift tag has to be, you know, square? Let me show you. Like, this is normally what gift tags look like, and there are a whole bunch of them here. Yes, you could, Lynn. Yes, you absolutely could use these on the front of a card, maybe even with a little pocket or something. So it doesn't have to be a gift tag. But my thought was, you know, when people think gift tags, they think this. And when you search for tags in Cricut Design Space, these are the kinds that you end up typically getting. So I wanted to show you how using a different kind of search, you can find these other ones. These are actually all from the same cartridge and image set, sorry, the same image set. I want to show you how to do that. Also, one of the things I've noticed with some of the older files is you can get these little look over here. See this little triangle with the exclamation point, which means basically caution. This happens a lot with draw, and I want to show you how to get around that, okay? And this is because there was a lot of conversion of the images from older images, and it has to do with the pen choice. It's so simple to get around, but I think when people encounter it, they get a little bit discombobulated. Oh, here we go with my dogs and his squeaky toy. He's upset because he doesn't get to play with the big boys today. They put him on the porch with me, and they're doing some installing. So I hope you all are well, and I'm going to just dive in with this lesson, and we're going to make a few of these lovely gift tags, okay? So first of all, how did I find these tags? I'm going to do a search, so we're going over here to images, okay? And and of course we go to my very favorite place, which is image sets, and that is right here. Okay, so we're going to go to image sets. Now, image sets is just a word or a term that they used to call cartridges. And if some of you have been Cricut devotees for years, you may remember having had cartridges that you would have images on it, kind of look horseshoe shaped, and they used to have that, and you would buy the cartridges and put them in your machine, and then you could either link them or you'd have to put the cartridge every time. But when they went to this online image sets, they dispensed with those, and they put all the images together in Cricut Design Space. And this is where you can find the individual sets. So if you had bought something and you linked it here, this is where you would find it under image sets. What's really great about the image sets, okay, so it's your first one. Yeah, if you're just starting out with Cricut, the idea of a cartridge is sort of, not part of the terminology that you're used to, but this is something for older people. I don't say older people, but people who have been cricketing for a long time, and so they have things that they've linked, and you can tell of the things that you've purchased or if you're part of a subscription. So here is a good example. This is all of the image sets, and I want to just show you. If it's part of Cricut Access, it will have an A right here. Okay, which means if you are part of Cricut Access, if you're an Access member, anything with an A, you can freely go and choose anything you want. Now, some things have no A. So here is one called Close to My Heart, Summer Vibes. And if you go over here, you can see that not only is it not part of Access, but I have not purchased this. So if I were to go in and use something from this grouping, for the entire grouping, it would cost me $9.99, so like $10. But if you wanted to just buy one image out of that grouping, and there's 20 images, they'll be individually priced. I don't see them coming up, but I'm sure they're on their way up. But I don't see them. I don't know why, but individually they might be like 99 cents or $1.50, something like that. But for the most part, all of those old images, the ones that we used to link with the cartridges, those are all like as part of Cricut Access, which I love, and then they've created more images as well. So so when looking for these tags, you could do a couple of different searches. First I did tag or tags, and it comes up with several, let's see, 23. There's this really, really cute one that I love for the winter time, but these are also tags, bags, boxes, and more. This is a huge image set that was created long before design space, and you could find lots of tags in there, and there are some nice print and cut tags. And here's what we're going to work on today. It's called Draw and Cut Everyday Tags. We're also going to do later on in the week, we're going to do these holiday tags. We might do that on Saturday night, actually. I love this set of holiday gift tags, and I make them all the time. I particularly love this one with the holly. And so when I saw that they had one for everyday uses, which is this, I was like, I can't stand it. I have to use that one. So if you want, you can just type in tags, or what I also did, if you wanted to look for things that were drawn, like that uses pens, if you type in the word draw, you'll end up with a grouping of, there's like 17 different cartridges, and I think they're all part of Cricut Access. There's these Christmas presents. Look at all of these very beautiful, they're not tags, but they're used drawn images. So if you do like draw plus cut or just draw, you'll come up with this grouping as well. So here's the grouping that we're going to be working on. And you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of different ones. There's the regular tags, and then we've got those animals, and then we've got a couple that are like this one here, best wishes. Look at this ice cream cone, so cute, and would make a really, for the summertime, like make a great tag. This is one I showed you. There's a cat one, another birthday one, and then for baby. So this is where you would select an image. So we would just maybe like select an image and pull it down here into insert images, or more than one, and then it would come into your canvas right here. Now I like my tags big. I don't know why. I just like a really big tag, because when I give a present, I generally don't give a card, so the tag becomes like the card, and so I tend to make them bigger, but that's my choice. They come in at about 3 inches. That's what a 3-inch one looks like, but I make them bigger, usually like 4 or 5 inches, and so that's up to you how you want to do it, but all you do is to resize, is you just make sure that it is selected with this square around there, and you can pull it using these arrows to make it bigger or even smaller, like that. And if you want to be very, very precise about the size, you're going to look right here where it says width and height. And what's great about this is that you only have to size one side, because then because the width and the height are sort of linked and what they call locked until you make a change by unlocking it, which is, this is what unlocking is. And if I unlocked it, then when I made the change, it would distort my image, okay? So if you wanted to say make it oval instead of round, you could do that. Make it oval. Or if it was a square and you wanted to make it rectangular, this is how you would do it, is by unlocking, okay, or locking. But if you keep it locked, then the image stays. Let's just go back. So this is the way it came in, right? If you keep it locked and you pull on these arrows, this is how you change it without distorting your image, without making it a different shape, okay? That's the best way that I can describe that. So you can make it bigger and smaller using these, or even up here you can just type in something, like just in one of the two, width or height, okay? And so one of the things, just kind of segue into this, one of the things I noticed with some of the drawn images is that we get these little arrow, what are they called? Triangles with like an exclamation point in them over here on the layers tab. And actually, if you were to go and try to cut this particular one with the exclamation point, it wouldn't allow you, your machine wouldn't, or Design Space wouldn't allow you, because you need to figure out what the problem is. Generally speaking, unless you're working with a Joy, okay, so it's different for a Joy, but unless you're working with a Joy, those, generally speaking, those little triangles with the exclamation point means that you have to change the pen color. That's all you have to do. So if I'm over here and I'm looking at this one and it has that exclamation point, and you'll notice that quite a few here, where are they? Yeah, oh no, not quite a few. I must have resolved the other ones. But so there's 2 here. Maybe it's under here. Oh yeah, here they are. So quite a few of them have this, and it's on the draw. So what you want to do is select that line, the line that has that exclamation point triangle, which caution sign. Let's call it a caution sign. And now we want to go up here to look where it says line type, and the line type is draw. Okay, so this is where you can actually change it from a cut file to a draw file or to a print file. This is where you would do that. But you'll notice next to the draw there's a question mark, and that's because it's unresolved, and it wants you to pick a color. You can pick any color you want, but basically the old association didn't transfer, if that's helpful. And so it just wants you to pick a color, and so in this case I picked black, and you'll notice over here it's resolved. Okay, so let's do that again in this grouping. This particular thank you card, where is it? This one. So this thank you card has 3 of these, and that's because it's an image that's attached, but really the only thing you have to resolve there is the draw right here. So we're gonna just click on that and go over here with the question mark, and we're gonna choose black. And you'll notice when you come back and look over here, all of those caution signs are gone. Same with this one. Draw, we're gonna go up here to that question mark, question mark, and choose. I just choose the black one. All right, and so you can see now all of our little caution signs have resolved, and we are good to go. And we can start cutting and drawing these images. Let's choose let's choose these little animals, because I love these little animals, and I started when I was playing with them. I thought, you know, who's to say? At first I started with the with like the natural colors, but then I was like, you know what? You could make these in all different colors. That would be really fun, especially for a child's birthday or something. And you can make them bigger or smaller. I left them this size, but they're just really adorable. And not only that, but in addition, they could probably be strung up like a banner too, so they don't necessarily have to be a regular gift tag. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a few of these here so you can see. So I'm going to go to make it. I'm going to leave them this size, but if I wanted to, I could ungroup them. I group them together. I could ungroup them and change the size of them again, just like by doing this. All right. Now, let's go and make it. We're going to make it here. So let's do that. And you'll notice that it separates all of my animals onto separate mats. So I have my deer, it's like grayish, and there's my bunny that's kind of cream colored, my bear that's sort of brownish, my owl is dark brown, and my fox is kind of red. Now, remember what we did yesterday where we changed the colors of all of them, and we could cut them out all on one sheet. We can do that again if we wanted to, or we could go and just cut these all out. It's a, you know, it would just be entirely up to you. And if you want to, I think that we should probably go over that again, how we did that quadrant thing. Now, if we wanted to cut them all in the same color, that would be great, because then all we have to do is go back, and we'll just cancel. We go back and we go to Color Sync over here. All right, and you'll notice in Color Sync, there's all our individual images. Now the black is, all of the tags have black background, but if we wanted to say, move these all, this is all we do, is we drag it. Oh, what did I do? Oh, here we go. All right. So I'm going to take my fox and turn it the same color as my, but it's not working. That's so weird. I don't know why it did that. Oh, because we have an unresolved issue over here. Let's go and change that. And this one needs to be black. I don't know why it did that. It's very interesting how it did that. So here's my bunny. And again, we have this unresolved issue, so we need to, and it says not supported by maker. Pen is incompatible. So we need to just go over here and change the pen. Okay. But also, we want to change the bunny. I want the bunny to be pink. But I did this wrong. All right, so we're going to change this layer of the bunny to pink. Okay, you see how I did that? And also this. And I want to change this layer of the fox to be red. Let's, oh, kind of a darky red there. All right, this one needs to be black. It's very strange how that happened. Okay, so we're drawing in black, and we want our bear to cut out. Okay, so now it looks like our bear and our deer are the same color, which we is fine, you know, which is fine. Or we can change the color. This is how we change the color. We select the image and we go up here. And you'll notice it says cut, but there's a question mark, and then it says fill question mark. You see that? So let's do this. We're going to change it to cut, and we're going to choose. I don't know why it's doing that. Interesting. No fill. Let's try no fill. Okay, so cut. We'll change it to brown. Okay. So sometimes, you know, you got to play around because you have so many choices to make, all right? So just don't get put off by that, okay? So here we've got another error message. It says, my project is incompatible. It's not supported by my current machine selection, okay? To resolve, it's saying I have to hit OK and adjust the layers. Interesting. I've never gotten this message. So if you wanted to say you had two machines, the Joy and an Explore, and there's some people that do have both machines. You know how to change your machine selection? You go up here to these three little like hamburger lines and you choose. Wait, where is it? Oh, I'm sorry. That's not where you do it. You go up here to the right-hand side and you choose your machine from here. So if you wanted to say cut on your Joy, you can change your selection to Joy, but you normally cut on your maker, so you need to make sure that that's selected. Now that will affect the number of images you can see. I don't know why that is, but there are some reasons that I don't understand yet, that depending on your machine, it will affect the number of images and even the projects that you would see. Is if I had my machine set for Joy, when I go to the projects area, I'm only going to see projects that are for Joy. So I always have my machine listed as Maker because I want to see all the projects. But if I just wanted to specifically do Joy things, I would come back and change my machine setting. So I'm going to see if maybe it's going to allow me to make. No, this is very interesting, and I don't know why. Oh, maybe because my deer. Let's fix my deer. Is that it? Let's try this. Yeah. Okay. So now my my machine thinks I'm cutting with my Joy. Well, I'm not cutting with the Joy, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get around this. This is because I had Joy selected. Okay, here we go. All right, so here is my deer. There's my bunny. There are and this is incorrect, but there are two things that are brown, and then here's my fox, and then here are the backgrounds. But you'll notice here with this one, this needs to be black. So it's okay. If you're already at this point, you can cancel and go back and make the change so that it cuts on the right, on the correct color, matte, okay? So again, we've got to go here on this side and switch it over to black because all of the backgrounds are black, remember? So let's go and make it again. And we see, here we go. Here's our bunny, here's our deer, there's our bear and owl, there's our fox, and there are all the backgrounds, okay? So that's what we want, and we're gonna continue to do that, okay? Hi, Rosalind. You got the same message, right? And it either has to do with your pen selection not being recognized from like an old image, or it has to do with your machine selection. Okay, so I'm using my scraps, which I have a big pile here of scraps, and we're gonna go ahead and cut these out using scraps. So let me just select a few different scraps. Let's see. Brown, we need gray, we need pink. Let's do that. And here's a scrap of black. I don't know if it's going to be big enough. Probably not. So I might have to start with a new piece for the black. Now, if you have a piece of scrap like this, and you want to make sure that it's gonna all fit on the scrap, you can go over here to that mat and edit. Now, in this case, I'm looking at my scrap and I'm like, if I wanted to see what the actual size is, I can use the side of the mat because these are measurements, and it's up to, let's see, my scrap is not quite 5 inches. So in this case, this might work. Nope, it's not gonna work unless I moved this guy over and maybe tried to fit him in here. I'm probably not gonna get to use my scrap for that. And I have been known to try to squish guys in there just to kind of be able to use my scrap, but in this case it's just not going to work. I need to start with the regular piece of paper that is not cut, so we'll do that. Okay, Now, also note that you can move things, and we talked about that before. You can move things to different mats. It does change the color, so you need to be aware of that. But if we went back, you know, and we wanted to move, say, for this one, we wanted the owl to be a light color. When I was in that middle section, that's where I could change it from one mat to the other. In fact, I'm going to do that just so I can demonstrate it for you, okay? So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to show you again. Okay, so here in this middle section, if I wanted my owl to be on a different mat and cut on a different color. So let's say I wanted to move it to the pink, okay? I have to select it, and there are these 3 dots right here. Now, there's a lot that you can do here. You can move your image around to fit with your scrap, right? Or you can press on the triple dots and you get 2 choices, move the object or hide. Okay, so if I wanted to I don't want to cut out an owl, I would choose hide selected. But in this case, I want to move it. So I'm going to choose move object. And here's what you get. You get all of your mats laid out for you, and you get the selection of putting it on a new mat. So if I wanted to, say, move it to the pink, I just choose the pink one and hit confirm, and then here you go. Now it's pink, okay? But if I weren't happy about that, I could also do the triple dots and move the object and choose a new mat. And then I would choose the color. Let's say I would choose gray. All right. So now I have an additional mat there, and I have each individual animal with the drawing showing up on its own mat. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And then I have to choose my material. And here is where, if you have an Explorer, you can set your dial for the cardstock or cardstock plus, whichever works for you with your machine. If you have a maker, you automatically do get this, all of the materials here, but with the Explorer, you have to turn the dial. And if you want, you can set your dial to custom in Explorer. And if you leave it at custom, you can go and browse all these materials anytime. So here's what you get when you get materials, and they're separated by sort of type. So fabric, felt, paper, and there's iron-on and vinyl, and fusible ink, by the way, is in iron-on, if that helps anybody. And then you got like other and artboard. Those are the thicker materials. So I generally work with cardstock, and so what I have done is I have selected this as a favorite. So right here there's a star, and that means that it's going to appear on my favorite list. Also up here I have glitter cardstock because I cut that a lot, and then I also use cardstock for intricate cuts. If this is something, if you like to cut out, especially like to cut out like Anna Griffin, her lovely layers cards, this is a setting you want to know about, cardstock for intricate cuts, because what it does is it slows down the machine and it allows the needle to come up and down slower, and it creates that better cut for those really intricate things. Okay, so that's part of my favorites, but today we're just using the medium cardstock. And you'll notice here that in addition to having a pan, my fine point blade, I have to have a pan in clamp A. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to move you, and let me just get my mat ready. So let's see. So here we are, and we're going to get our mat ready. I'm going to move you over here. This is my machine, Yeah, it goes slower and it does cut it twice. You're right, Dorothy. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Thank you. Okay, so we need to maybe also put our pen in. If we don't put our pen in, you know, your machine will just go ahead and assume the pen is in there. It doesn't know that there's no pen in there. And this the same holds true for the stylus, the scoring stylus. If you don't have the scoring stylus in there and you hit go, the machine will just, you know, pretend like it's in there. It doesn't sort of acknowledge that there's no pen or no stylus in there. So this is how we put the pen in. We unclamp it, we drop the pen in, we support from the bottom, and we click it in. We support from the bottom because we don't want to put a lot of pressure on this clamp, and then we close it. Then we're going to insert our mat. And remember, when you're doing pen work, it always does the pen before the cutting, okay? So let's go ahead. And I have actually turned my machine on with no pen in there. And, and if you've ever done that, you can also pause. This is pause right here. So I could hit that and it would stop, and then I could put my pen in there. But if you start it without putting the pen, it would just go up and down as if a pen were in there, because I just want to make that point. So it's going to do the drawing, and then it will start the cutting. And so it's almost done with the drawing, and you don't have to touch any butt ends for it to go to cutting. So it's done with the drawing now, and now it's going to get ready to start cutting. So it's going to cut around for the little doe, which is the one that we want. Now I want to show you a little trick. Let's say this color, I want to keep this color in my machine, and I want to change where I want to change it, like so that my bunny is in the same color, okay? So I'm going to show you, I'm going to go over here a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So right now it's showing that my doe, my little deer, is cutting out. So what I can do is, like, if I want to change the bunny and use this paper, I do have to take the mat out, but what I'm going to do is reposition where the bunny is. So I'm going to move him over here, okay? And then what I'm going to do, take my mat out, put it back in, and now I'm going to use the same paper that I had in there. See, it has something cut here. But because I moved the bunny over here, he's going to cut out here. So it's another trick that you can use, that if you want to use up spare pieces, or you decide you want something cut in one, is just move that image to a different place on your mat so that it will cut out, and you'll be able to cut out two images. I've done this trick by turning my mat around, like upside down, and using the other side of the mat. And it's important that you do use your mats in both ways, because then they wear better. So there's also another thing to note. Okay. So it's done with the writing, and it's now going to cut my bunny in that gray and on the same mat as I was doing before. Let's give it a few seconds to finish up cutting. It's done. Let me show you what we did. So there we did the doe. And there is the bunny. So you're able to move it around, and you can do this with anything. Even while you're cutting, you can change things around, and you can use your paper better. Okay, so let's just cut out the backgrounds now, those black backgrounds for these, and then I'll show you how these go together really simply. Now I'm going to keep this piece of paper because there's still quite a bit that I'm going to use, so I'm going to keep that. And you see how I'm also like jumping around? You don't have to go in the order that the mats are. And one of the things that I often do is, like, let's say I have something that has a lot of layers, and one of those layers happens to be glitter cardstock, because I do that a lot, where I might put like patterns and solids, and then one layer is glitter to sort of make it pop. Is I will work around all the other mats, because I'm lazy, I think, but I will, if the majority of them are regular medium cardstock, I'll just make sure that I work around that glitter layer and do all of the other ones, and then I put the glitter in, and I'm going to show you how you can actually change your material between cutting. So let's pretend like we've done, these are all of the layers that we've done in the medium cardstock, and when we're done, we have one layer that we want to change to glitter cardstock. So I'm going to show you how to change it in the middle of a cut, okay? So just as soon as this gets done, I'm going to show you how to do that. So maybe I'll just move you over here and see that it's 90% done cutting. Now it says 100%. Have you noticed that? Sometimes it says 100%, but it's still cutting. I don't know where they get the percentages, but whatever, they do. Okay. So we'll take this one out. Now, let's say I'm here, and the next is, let's see, where is the next one? The owl. Okay, I think that's the owl. Yep, it's the owl. But I want to cut out the owl in some other kind of material. I probably wouldn't do that for this because it has a pen, but I just want to show you how to change the material. So I just have to click on the material set, which right now it's set for medium cardstock, and I click on that, and here come my favorites, and then I would just choose glitter cardstock. Or if it's not in my favorites, say it's, I don't know, vellum. Oh, vellum is in my favorites. Maybe it's patterned glitter cardstock. I would just then do that by choosing that. So see how I do that? I just hit on the materials, and then I choose a different material, and it changes. Also of note, here is pressure. There are three settings for pressure. Default, you get more, you get less. So if you're finding when you're cutting that, let's say you're cutting vinyl and you don't want it to cut all the way through, but it is, you can also just change the pressure to less. I generally haven't had the reason to use less, but I have had reason to use more. And let me show you what I mean. Sometimes I get pieces of paper that are just really thick. And I would probably consider this medium, but it needs a little bit more. That's why I would change the pressure to more. I'd still keep it on the medium cardstock, but I would change it to more because it would cut, okay? My fiance thinks that the percentage of instruction being sent. Okay, Jennifer's asking the question, the percentage of the instructions being sent to the machine. I don't know. I'm not really sure what you're asking, but the percentage, do you mean like the pressure that's going? Jennifer's asking about the percentage of instructions being sent to the machine. So, you know, what we're doing here is we're kind of tricking out the system a little bit. Sometimes because you're a user, you've noticed that it doesn't seem to cut all the way through when you're using glitter cardstock, and that's where pressure comes in. So if you want just a little bit more and you don't want to change your actual material setting, this is why you would do that for pressure, okay? So the other thing that I want to mention, and it's shaded out because until you put something in there, it won't be optional. It won't be an option. It's something that Dorothy mentioned yesterday, Dorothy, and that was the fast mode. Okay, now you can't see it when you don't have a piece of paper in there, or a mat in your machine. So I'm just gonna load a mat in my machine so you can see what I'm talking about. So as I load the mat, you'll notice that this becomes unshaded, right? And it says fast mode. And right now it's off. Now, if you have an older Explorer, like an original Explorer Air, I'm not sure that you have fast mode. I think the big change between the Air and the Air 2 was the addition of the fast mode. And it's also available on the Maker. So just to turn it on, you would just use this toggle switch, and it will cut faster. It's only for cutting. It's not for like writing, but it will cut faster than it normally cuts. I don't generally use fast mode because, I don't know, for me, I just feel like I don't want to rush the machine, but that just might be me and my silly thinking, okay? But that is available to you. So if you're cutting out a lot of something, and it's pretty easy. Now, also the other thing about fast mode is that it's not available for everyone. When it says 100% cut, oh, okay. So Jennifer's saying when it says 100% cutting and it keeps cutting, I'm saying the reason is it says that could be because it's done sending instruction. That's an interesting. So Jennifer's saying when I said, you know, sometimes it says 100% cutting, it could be that the machine is done sending the instructions to the machine and it just has to finish the cutting. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, Jennifer. Okay. So enough with all these different things to do. Let's put together the tags that we've made today. So here are a couple of tags, right? And you see that they are written on and they've got cutouts, and of course they have the cutout around. So we're going to look for the one that matches. Where is it? Okay, so here's our bunny, and that's the background. And then by putting this here, I don't know why that, oh, here it did cut. It creates the eyes on the bunny. And let's do the doe. Here's the doe. And there's our doe with the writing and everything. So, and I'll just show you real quick how you put the glue on there. I usually put glue on the top layer rather than on the bottom layer. I don't know why, but I do that usually. I think because the top layer generally has more cutouts, and I want to make sure that the glue doesn't seep through the cutouts. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I got my glue, just dabbing it, and then there you go. So that's how you do draw and cut tags using that draw and cut. And this is going to come in handy when we do those Christmas and seasonal ones. And then here, same thing. Okay. All right. Any questions that I can answer for you? Otherwise, I think that's what we got for today. Yeah, they're really adorable. And think of them bigger and maybe in your own personal color choice, or maybe you have a kid that loves purple bunnies and you want to make purple bunnies. This is your opportunity, and that's where you can use your creativity and your personal, style to make the correct things. And go and check out that image set. It's called Print Then Cut Everyday Tags. And I'm sorry, it's Draw and Cut Everyday Tags. And it's available to you if you're a Cricut Access customer, and you can find it in image search. Yeah, also very good for scrapbooks. There are a number of really cool layered animals as well we can look at, one of them being Teddy Bear Parade. That's another great image set that if you like to make animals, you can definitely look up. There's also another one called Simply Charmed that's also like non-animals. Some are animals and some are like things like food, like a hot dog or something like that. All right. So I'm glad, Bren, that you learned something new every day, and we'll be back tomorrow. If you are catching this on the replay, just know that we are live every day during the week, Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock, and on Facebook at Miss Rita to the Rescue, or you can follow me on YouTube at the replay at Miss Rita to the Rescue. Thanks so much for coming today. We'll see you again tomorrow with another great Cricut lesson and project here on Cricut Chat. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you. Thanks, Dorothy.